I'm as qualified as any person that's in the ministry to know which version of the Bible translations are the best. And I would say that the King James Version is an excellent translation, except I don't speak Elizabethan English. And that's one of the biggest problems you have with younger people, trying to teach them out of something that has an archaic grammar and words. That's why I think that one of the better new translations is the New King James Version.
New King James, New International Version, New Living Translation. All these new Bibles, new gods are coming from the Alexandrian text. The same people that stoned Stephen. Don't you guys see it? Burn those Bibles. Get rid of them. Get yourself a King James Bible, King James. Amen. All the glory to God. Whenever I meet somebody that has an NIV Bible, new is not, you know what, these new gods, new NASB, they always say, my NASB, my NIV, my. Why do they do that? Well, I explained from the book of Judges and the other passages that I gave you that you choose new gods, or you have chosen new gods. You go back to Genesis 3, and what did the serpent say to Eve in the garden? Ye shall be as gods. So because they have these new gods, they would say, my NIV, my NASB. And they become gods. Just like Satan said they would in the garden, the serpent. Amen.
Which I use a great deal. And the New American Standard Bible. That's the one that I probably use most, because as I compare it word for word with the Greek, as I study through it.
Okay, today I want to talk a little bit about a Bible which is supposedly the oldest Bible in the world, so they claim, which is called the Codex Sinaiticus, which is from the false Mount Sinai in Egypt. And this Bible is supposed to be the oldest in the world. If we know where Mount Sinai is according to God's word, and according even to the Codex Sinaiticus, Mount Sinai in Exodus 16:1, let's find out where Mount Sinai really is. It can't be in Egypt. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. So they're out of the land of Egypt when they found the real Mount Sinai, which is in Arabia. Now let's go on a little further. Exodus 19:1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. So they were the third month out of Egypt when they came to Sinai. So it has to be in Arabia. Numbers 1:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, so they're out of the land of Egypt, in Arabia. Numbers 9:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, and then it goes on. Okay, but the Codex Sinaiticus ends with C-U-S, but it's pronounced C-U-S-S. I find that rather interesting. We're just going to go to, I have an actual printing by Codex Sinaiticus, D.C. Parker. And it says the story of the world's oldest Bible, but it's not the world's oldest Bible. And this is written in Greek. I don't know if you can see it, but it's written in Greek. And if you can see it, you can capture a screenshot. It's written in Greek, but I'm just going to translate that for you, a simple explanation of what they're saying the Codex Sinaiticus is. And they're saying the Codex Sinaiticus is a Latin name. Codex means a particular kind of book. The book as we know it, consisting of a number of sheets folded in half, written on both sides and joined together with thread. Sinaiticus means Sinaitic, of Sinai, or from Sinai. The reference is to Sinai in Egypt. Well, if the reference is to Sinai in Egypt, and the actual Mount Sinai is in Arabia, then something's really wrong with this book. Already, and plus it was found in a garbage can, discarded by monks. That should tell us something there. There is a long tradition of naming manuscripts after places in which they are associated, but the name does not necessarily indicate either where the manuscript was written or where it is now. In English, the book from Sinai, it means the books from Sinai. It at once too imprecise and too definite. The Sinaitic manuscript is a better translation. Codex is pronounced with a long O, as in code. So Sinaiticus is pronounced Sinaiticus. The stress lines on the third syllable. Very interesting, and this is written by one of the guys that really praises the book, D.C. Parker. But and I mentioned some scriptures in Numbers and Exodus, but let's just go to Hebrews 4:25, and see where the real Mount Sinai really is. It talks about Hagar here. Hebrews 4:25 talks in Hebrews about Hagar, and Hagar actually means the Mount Sinai of Arabia. So that's in the New Testament. So we know the Mount Sinai is not in Egypt, and we know that the Codex Sinaiticus is a forgery. And we can prove that Tischendorf, who's the guy that wrote it, actually added sheets, took them, wrote them himself, and he coffee stained them and stained them with lime juice to make them look old. Now that's very deceiving as it is, but if you ever look on Chuck Publications, there's a guy named David Daniels. He's done a lot of studying on this. I really recommend that any of the brethren out there that want to get to the bottom of the Bible version issue, that they check that by David Daniels. And also the King James Bible, which is this one here. This is only the New Testament, but I also have Psalms in here too. Is the perfect, pure, preserved words of God. Don't let anybody steal your crown. Okay, thanks, guys.
I find that this is the New Testament is the most literal rendering of the original Greek that I've seen, because none of them are the best translation in every word. You have to go and verify it in the Greek. I get angry, Frank, righteously angry, with some of the hateful mail that I get, and others who are teaching in a wide area get from people out there who are so stuck on the King James Version. The idea is that somehow the translators of the King James Version were these godly, austere men who spiritually were above anybody else that's ever translated the Bible. Well, you go back in that time, most of them weren't believers. King James just took a bunch of scholars and said, translate it. By the grace of God, the Holy Spirit oversaw it, and it came out well. But it's certainly not the best translation that's ever been made. That's why I recommend the New American Standard Bible, because it is the closest literal translation to the original Greek that I found. The Textus Receptus, original manuscripts on which the King James Version was based, had several renderings that we find earlier manuscripts did not have in it.